Hello, Rob here. Lately on my Facebook page, I've been noticing a lot of my Facebook friends have been saying that because of the self-quarantine, a lot of my friends have been kind of bored and feeling like there's nothing to do and that they're getting a little stir crazy. And I also had some Facebook friends as well saying that because they're out of work due to these tough times, they're kind of a little bit depressed and cranky and frustrated. So I decided I was going to try to do my best to help provide some entertainment to try to help people get through this tough time. So today I decided I'm going to try to recreate an audio drama where I try to play all the parts. And what's interesting is the script that I'm going to attempt to do this with is a classic play that I've actually done a few times. It's called Sherlock Holmes in the Case of the Crown Diamond. It was written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle as a one-act stage play back in 1910, so it's in the public domain, so technically I can do this without paying any money for the copyright. I actually did this one-act play twice as a director. I did it oh geez, I think I did it back in 2012 and a couple years later after that, maybe 2014-15. And basically it's a 20-minute one-act play. Instead of obviously trying to redo it all as a stage play, I kind of did it as an audio drama. So I got myself a stage microphone here, and I'm going to attempt to do voices as well. So I hope you find this entertaining. And if you want me to try to, keep doing more of these shows, doing stuff on like useless trivia or stuff that's going on in my life as well, feel free to let me know. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. So this is Sherlock Holmes in the Case of the Crown Diamond, and before I do that, I should probably explain all the characters. Obviously, we have the great, masterful detective Sherlock Holmes, the very quick mind. You can walk into a room, and he can notice that what has happened based on looking around and using his instincts. We also have Dr. John Watson, his frequent companion that goes on these cases, and sometimes he doesn't know where Holmes is coming from and is amazed at all of his use of deduction. We also have Colonel Sebastian Moran, the villain of the piece, very sly, very cunning. We also have Mrs. Hudson, the housekeeper of Mr. Holmes. She puts up with a lot of his, I hate to say bull crap, but that's the only thing I can really think of. Like, he'll mess up his room, he'll do crazy things and everything. And finally we have Sam Merton, who is the sort of, thug to Colonel Moran. They are on this diamond heist together. So without any further ado, I'm going to do Sherlock Holmes in the Case of the Crown Diamond, and hopefully I pull this off very well. So good luck to this. Alright, so the setting is in the the apartment of Sherlock Holmes. There's a lot of things. Imagine a room full of, it's messy with paper all over the place, but there's also scientific equipment, there's also a couch, there's also a desk. So in walks Dr. Watson and Mrs. Hudson. Well, Mrs. Hudson, when will he be back? Oh, I'm sure I couldn't say, sir. Well, when did you last see him? Oh, I really couldn't tell you. What? You couldn't tell me? Oh, no, sir. There was a clergyman who looked in yesterday, and there was an old bookmaker, and there was also a workman. Well? Well, but I'm not so sure. They weren't all Mr. Holmes. You see, he's hot on a chase right now. Oh, I see. He neither eats nor sleeps. Well, you've lived with him the same as me. You know what he's like when he's after someone. Oh, I know. He is a responsibility, sir, that he is. It's a real worry to me sometimes. When I asked him if he would like to order dinner, he said, "Yes, Mrs. Hudson, I'll have chops and mashed potatoes at 7:30, the day after tomorrow." "Won't you have anything before then, sir?" I asked him. "I haven't time, Mrs. Hudson. I'm busy." He gets thinner and paler, and his eyes get brighter. It's awful to see him. Oh, tut, this will never do. I must certainly stop and see him. Well, yes, sir, it will ease my mind. But what is he after? It's the Case of the Crown Diamond. What? The £100,000 burglary? Oh, yes, sir. They must get it back, sir. Why, he had the Prime Minister and the Home Secretary both sitting on that sofa. Mr. Holmes promised he would do his best for them. Quite nice he was to them. Put them at ease in a moment. Oh, dear me, I've read about it in the paper, but I say, Mrs. Hudson, what have you been doing to this room, and what's this curtain? Oh, I don't know, sir. Mr. Holmes put it there 3 days ago, but we've got something funny behind it. Something funny, Mrs. Hudson? Oh, yes, sir, he had it made. Mrs. Hudson pulls the curtain, and right across from it is a wax image of Sherlock Holmes sitting in a chair with his back to them and his face facing out the window. Good heavens, Mrs. Hudson. Oh, yes, sir. It's like him, sir. Mrs. Hudson picks up the head and exhibits it. Well, it's wonderful, but what's it for, Mrs. Hudson? Well, you see, sir, he's anxious that those who watch him should think he's at home, sometimes when he isn't. Oh, there is the bell, sir. I must go. She draws the curtain and leaves the room. Watson sits down, starts to light a cigarette, and opens a paper, and enters a tall, bent, old woman in a black veil and side curls. Oh, good day, ma'am. You're not Mr. Holmes? Oh, no, ma'am. I'm his friend, Dr. Watson. Oh, I knew you couldn't be Sherlock Holmes. I always heard he was a handsome man. Upon my word. But I must see him at once. Well, I assure you he is not in. I don't believe you. What? You have a very sly, deceitful face. Oh, yes, a wicked, scheming face. Come, come, young man, where is he? Really, madam, this is outrageous. Oh, very well, I'll find him for myself. He's probably in there, I believe. That is his bedroom. Really, madam, this is outrageous. I wonder what he keeps in the safe. And then suddenly, as she approaches the safe, the room goes dark. It's pitch black, and then an alarm bell goes off. And suddenly, the lights come back on, and there, next to Watson, in place of the old woman, is Sherlock Holmes, the great master detective himself. Good heavens, Holmes! A neat little alarm, is it not, Watson? My own invention. You tread on a loose plank and so connect the circuit. Or I can turn it on myself. It prevents inquisitive people from becoming too inquisitive. When I come back, I know if anyone has been fooling with my things. It switches off automatically, as you saw. But my dear fellow, why this disguise? Oh, a little comic relief, Watson. When I saw you sitting there looking so solemn, I really couldn't help it. But I assure you, there's nothing comic in the business I am engaged upon. Oh, good heavens! He rushes across the room and draws the curtain, which has partly been left open. Why, what is this? Danger, Watson. Air guns, Watson. I'm expecting something this evening. Well, expecting what, Holmes? Expected to be murdered, Watson. No. No, you're joking, Holmes. No, even my limited sense of humor could evolve a better joke than that, Watson. No, it is a fact. And in case it should come off, it's about a 2-to-1 chance. It would perhaps be best as well that you should burden your memory with the name and address of the murderer. Holmes! You can give it to Scotland Yard with my love and a parting blessing. Moran is the name, Colonel Sebastian Moran. Well, write it down, Watson, write it down. 136 Moorside Gardens, NW. You've got it? But surely something could be done, Holmes. Couldn't you have this fellow arrested? Yes, Watson, I could, and that's what's worrying him so. Well, why don't you? Because I don't know where the diamond is. The diamond? Yes, the great yellow crown diamond, 77 carats without flaw. I have 2 fish in the net, but I haven't gotten the stone yet, and what's the use of taking them? It's the stone that I am after. Is this Colonel Moran one of the fish in the net, Holmes? Yes, and he's a shark. He bites. The other is Sam Merton, the boxer. Not a bad fellow, Sam, but the Colonel has used him. Sam's not a shark. He's a big, silly gudgeon, but he's flopping about my net all the same. And where is this Colonel Moran? Oh, I have been at his elbows all morning. Once he picked up my parasol. By your leave, ma'am, said he. Life is full of whimsical happenings. I followed him to old Straubenzie's workshop in the Minories. Straubenzee made the airgun, a fine bit of work that I understand. An air gun? Yes, the idea is to shoot me through the window, and I had to put up that curtain. Oh, by the way, have you seen the dummy? Oh, Mrs. Hudson has been showing you the sights. It may get a bullet through its beautiful wax head at any moment. Just then Mrs. Hudson enters, just as Holmes is patting the dummy head. Ah, well, Mrs. Hudson, Colonel Sebastian Moran is here, sir. Ah, the man himself. I rather expected it. Grasp the niddle, Watson, a man of nerve. He felt my toe to his heels. Oh, and it looks like Sam is out there in the street. The faithful but fatuous Sam. And where is the Colonel, Mrs. Hudson? Oh, he's in the waiting room, sir. Well, show him up when I ring. Yes, sir. Oh, and by the way, Mrs. Hudson, if I am not in the room, you just show him in, just the same. Very good, sir. And she leaves the room. I'll stay with you, Holmes. Oh, no, my dear fellow, you would be horribly in the way. But he may murder you. No, I shouldn't be surprised. I can't possibly leave you, Holmes. Yes, you can, my dear Watson. You have always played the game, and I'm sure that you will play it to the end. Take this note to Scotland Yard. Come back with the police. The fellow's arrest will follow. I will do that with joy. And before you return, I have just time to find where the diamond is. Sherlock Holmes rings the bell. This way, Watson, we'll go together. I'd rather want to see my shark without him seeing me. So Watson and Holmes go into the bedroom and enter Mrs. Hudson and Colonel Moran, who is a big, fierce man, flashily dressed, and with a heavy cudgel. Colonel Sebastian Moran. And with that, Mrs. Hudson turns and leaves. So, Colonel Rand looks around, advances slowly into the room, and starts as he sees the dummy figure sitting in the window. He stares at it, then crouches, grips his stick, and advances on tiptoe. When he is close to the figure, he raises the stick, and then suddenly, Holmes comes quickly out of the bedroom door. "Don't break it, Colonel, don't break it." "Good Lord." It's a pretty little thing. Travanier, the French modeler, made it. He is good at waxwork as Straubenzee is at air guns. Air guns, sir? Air guns? What do you mean by that? Oh, put your hat and stick on the side table, thank you, and pray take a seat. Would you care to put your revolver out also? Oh, very good, if you prefer to sit upon it. The Colonel and Holmes sit down on the settee. "I wanted 5 minutes chat with you, Colonel." "Well, I wanted 5 minutes chat with you, Mr. Holmes. I won't deny that I intended to assault you just now. Well, it struck me that some sort of idea has crossed my mind. And with reason, sir, with reason. But why this attention? Because you have gone out of your way to annoy me. Because you have put your creatures on my track." "My creatures, Colonel?" "I had them followed. I know that they report to you here." "Oh, no, I assure you." "Oh, tut, sir. Other people can observe as well as you. Yesterday there was an old sporting man. Today it was an elderly lady. They held me in view all day." "Really, sir, you compliment me. Old Baron Dowson, when he was hanged at Newgate, was good enough to say that in my case what the law had gained, the stage had lost. And now you come here with your kindly words. In the name of the elderly lady and of the sporting gentleman, I thank you. Oh, and there was also an out-of-work plumber who has an autistic dream. You seem to have overlooked him." "It was you. You, your humble servant, and if you doubt it, you can see the parasol upon the settee which you politely handed to me this morning down in the Minories. Well, if I had known, you might never have seen my humble home again, Colonel. No, I was aware of it, but it happens you didn't know. And here we are, quite chatty and comfortable. What you say only makes matters worse. It was not your agents, but you yourself who have dogged me. Why have you done this?" "You used to shoot tigers, Colonel?" "Yes, sir." "And why?" "Why does any man shoot a tiger? Excitement, the danger, and no doubt the satisfaction of freeing the country from a pest which devastates it and lives upon the population." "Exactly, Mr. Holmes. My reason in a nutshell." "Insolent! Now sit down, Colonel, sit down. There are more practical reasons." "Well, Mr. Holmes?" "I want the crown diamond." "Upon my word." "Well, go on." "You knew that I was after you for that reason. The reason why you are here tonight is to find out how much I know about the matter. Well, you can take it that I know all about it, save one thing, which you are about to tell me." "Oh, and pray, what is that, Mr. Holmes?" "Where the diamond is." "Oh, you want to know that, do you? Well, how the devil should I know where it is? You not only know, but you are about to tell me." "Oh, indeed." "You can't bluff me, Colonel. You're absolute plate glass. I can see the very back of your mind." "Then, of course, you can see where the diamond is." "Ah, then you know. You have admitted it." "I admit nothing, Mr. Holmes." "Now, Colonel, if you will be reasonable, we can do business together. If not, you may get hurt. And you talk about bluff. Do you know what I keep inside this book, Colonel?" "No, sir, I do not." "You." "Me?" "Yes, sir, you. You're all here, every action of your vile and dangerous life." "Damn you, Holmes, don't go too far." "Some interesting details, Colonel. The real facts to the death of Miss Minnie Warner of Larbun Grove. All here, Colonel." You devil." "And the story of young Abernaut, who was found drowned in the Regent's Canal just before his intended exposure of you for cheating at cards." I never hurt the boy." But he died the very reasonable time. And do you want to know more, Colonel? Plenty of it here. How about the robbery in the train deluxe to the Riviera, February 13th, 1892? How about the forged check on the Credit Lyonnais the same year?" No, you are wrong there." "Oh, then I must be right on the others. Now, Colonel, you are a card player, and when the other fellow holds all the trumps, it saves time to throw down your hand." "If there was a word of truth in all this, Holmes, would I have been a free man all of these years?" "Well, I was not consulted. There are missing links in the police case, but I have a way of finding missing links. You may take it from me that I can do so." "Bluff, Mr. Holmes, bluff." Oh, so you wish to prove my words? Well, if I touch this bell, it means the police, and from that instant the matter is out of my hands. Shall I? What does this have to do with the jewel that you speak of? Oh, gently, Colonel, gently. Restrain that eager mind. Let me get to the point of my own humdrum way. I have all this against you, and I have a clear case against both you and your fighting bully in the case of the Crown Diamond. Oh, indeed. I have the cabman who took you to Whitehall, the cabman who brought you away, I have the commissionaire who saw you beside the case, I have Ike Cohen who refused to cut it up for you. Ike has peached, and the game is up. Oh, hell. That is the hand I play from, but there's one card missing. I don't know where this King of Diamonds is. And you shall never know, Mr. Holmes. Tut, tut, don't turn nasty. Now consider. You're going to be locked up for 20 years, so is Sam Merton. What good are you going to get out of your diamond? None in the world. But if you let me know where it is, well, I'll compound a felony. We don't want you or Sam, we want the stone. Give up, and as so far as I'm concerned, you can go free as long as you behave yourself in the future. If you make another slip, then God help you, but this time, my commission is to get the stone, not you. Holmes goes and rings the bell. And if I refuse, Mr. Holmes? Oh, then alas, and it must be you and not the stone. Just then Mrs. Hudson enters. Yes, sir. I think we'd better have your friend Sam at this conference. Mrs. Hudson, you will see a very large and very ugly gentleman outside the front door. Ask him to come up, will you? Yes, sir, but suppose he won't come. Oh, no, if you tell him Colonel Moran wants him, he will come. Yes, sir. Mrs. Hudson goes out. What is the meaning of this, then? My friend Dr. Watson was just with me now. I told him that I had a shark and a gudgeon in my net, and now I am drawing the net, and up they come together. You won't die in your bed, Mr. Holmes. You know, I have often had the same idea for that matter, but your finish is more likely to be perpendicular than horizontal. But these anticipations are morbid. Let us give ourselves up to the unrestrained enjoyment of the present. No fingering your revolver, my friend, for you know perfectly well that you dare not use it. Nasty, noisy things, revolvers. Better stick to air guns, Colonel. Ah, I think I hear the footsteps of your estimable partner. Mrs. Hudson enters with Sam Merton, a tall thug person. Mr. Sam Merton. As she leaves, Holmes says, Good day, Mr. Merton. Rather damp in the street, is it not? What's the game? What's up? Well, if I may put it in a nutshell, Mr. Merton, I should say it is all up. Is this cove trying to be funny or what? I ain't in a funny mood myself. Oh, you'll feel even less humorous as the evening advances. I think I can promise you that. Now here, Colonel, I'm a busy man, and I can't waste time. I'm going into my bedroom. Pray make yourselves entirely at home in my absence. You can explain to your friend how the matter lies. I shall try over the barcarolle on my violin. In 5 minutes I shall return for your final answer, and you quite grasp the alternative, don't you? Shall we take you, or shall we take the stone? Holmes goes into the bedroom, taking his violin with him. What's this? He knows all about the stone. Yes, he knows a dashed sight too much about it. I'm not sure that he doesn't know all about it. Oh, good Lord. Ike Cohen has split, Sam. Oh, he has he? Well, I'll do him a thick one for that. But that will not help us now. We've got to make up our minds about what to do. Why, half a mo. He's not listening, is he? Sam Merton approaches Holmes' door. Oh, no, it's shut. Looks to me as if it were locked. The music begins. Ah, there he is, safe enough. Sam goes to the curtain and opens it and sees the dummy of Holmes sitting there. Ah, there he is again. Oh, that cove, I'll blast him. No, tut, it's a dummy, don't mind it. A fake, is it? He examines it and turns the head. By gosh, I wish I could twist his own as easy. Well, strike me, madam, just so it ain't in it. Suddenly, the room goes dark again, and then the alarm goes off, and then suddenly the lights clap back on. And then, just a moment, the Colonel and Sam are like really close together at this point. Well, dash my buttons, governor. Look here, this is getting on my nerves. Is this unsweetened gin or what? No, it's some it's some childish hanky-panky of this fellow Holmes. Spring or alarm or something. Now listen here, look. There's no time to lose. He can lag us for the diamond. Oh, the hell he can. But he will let us slip if we tell him where the stone is. What? Give up the swag? Give up 100,000? It's one or the other, Sam. No way out? You've got the brains, Governor. Surely you could think of a way out of it. Wait a bit. I have fooled better men than he. Here is the stone in the secret pocket. It can be out of England tonight, cut into 4 pieces in Amsterdam before Saturday. He knows nothing of Van Sedor. Well, I thought Vanzetta was to wait till next week. Well, he has to do it now. We must get him onto the next boat. One or the other of us must slip round with the stone to the Excelsior and tell him, well, the false bottom ain't in the hat box yet. Well, he must take it as it is, Sam, and chance it. There is not a moment to lose. As to Holmes, we can fool him enough. You see, he won't arrest us if he thinks he can get the stone. Well, we'll put him on the wrong track about it. And before he finds it is the wrong track, the stone will be in Amsterdam and we out of the country. Oh, that is prime. Now you go off and tell Vanzetta to get a move on. I will see this sucker and fill him with a bogus convention. The stone is in Liverpool, that is what I will tell him. And by the time he finds it isn't, there won't be much of it left and we'll be on blue water. Just then the Colonel carefully looks around and draws a small leather box from his pocket and holds it up. Here is the crown diamond. Just then, in place of the dummy, Holmes stands right up and grabs it from out of the Colonel's hand. And I thank you. Curse you, Holmes. To hell with him. Now, no violence, gentlemen, no violence. I beg of you. It must be very clear to you that your position is an impossible one. The police are waiting downstairs. You devil, how did you get there? Oh, the device is obvious but effective. Lights off for a moment and the rest is common sense. It gave me a chance of listening to your racy conversation, which had been painfully constrained by a knowledge of my presence. No, Colonel, no, I'm covering you with a 450 Derringer through the pocket of my dressing gown. Just then, Holmes rings the bell again and Mrs. Hudson walks in. Send them up, Mrs. Hudson. Mrs. Hudson nods and leaves the room. Well, you've got us, damn you. That's a fair cop, but I say, what about that bloomin' fiddle? Ah, yes, those modern gramophones of wonderful invention. Wonderful. Ooh, there we go. All right, well, that's the my audio dramatization of the case of the Crown Diamond. Feel free to tell me what you thought about it. Would you like me to do some more videos to help pass the time, or do you want me to stop doing them and not even get started? Feel free to leave your comments below. And, feel free to, share anything. So thank you very much for your time. I hope I did a good job distinguishing all 5 of these characters. So thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves and your families and one another.